Vietnamese coriander. Persicaria odorata. This is Vietnamese coriander, I bought from store. I try to propagate Vietnamese coriander, using water. For me, it take 3 days in water for Vietnamese coriander, to produce root. Now also the good time to transplant Vietnamese coriander, into the soil. Also before planting Vietnamese coriander cutting in the container, I make sure the soil I am using in moist condition. This is because moist soil is much easier to work with than dry soil. I know it look like the plant is dying, but trust me, it gonna be fine. Since the cutting already have root, the chances of their dying are pretty slim. At this plant development stages, my water usage on average are about 200 milliliters. After 2 weeks, my water usage on average are about 400 milliliters. Vietnamese coriander requires consistently moist soil to thrive. I water my Vietnamese coriander every day. Time I water my Vietnamese coriander is between 7 to 8 a.m. If raining, I don't water my Vietnamese coriander plant. Important, when growing Vietnamese coriander, please do not let the soil dry out. Vietnamese coriander plant is not drought-tolerant plant. Water usage depend on container size, container type, weather and climate you live in. Your water usage may be different than mine. Soil I use for growing Vietnamese coriander contain cocoa peat, red burn soil, micro, fine sand, old humus and charcoal. Or you can use whatever growing media available to your convenience. Vietnamese coriander grows best in well-drained soil. Vietnamese coriander can also be grown indoors near a bright kitchen window. I grow Vietnamese coriander in full sun location. Vietnamese coriander also can be grown in partial shade location. Vietnamese coriander can grow about 50 to 60 centimeters in height. But growing Vietnamese coriander in cooler highlands climate, it can reach a height of 1.2 meter tall. Other name for Vietnamese coriander are laxa plant, laxa leaf, Vietnamese mint, Cambodian mint, hot mint, smartweed, water pepper, marsh pepper. Vernacular name for Polygonum doratum are Dawn Kusum Malaysia, Rau Ram Vietnam, Phac Phai Thailand. Vietnamese coriander is a herb species of the family Polygonaceae. My minimum temperature when growing Vietnamese coriander is 23 degrees Celsius. My maximum temperature when growing Vietnamese coriander is 33 degrees Celsius. I grow my Vietnamese coriander in tropical climate. Vietnamese coriander prefer to grow in tropical, subtropical, monsoonal climate zone. Vietnamese coriander grow as perennial in my climate. Vietnamese coriander is native to Myanmar, Thailand, Laos, Cambodia, Vietnam and Malaysia. Vietnamese coriander leaf can be used in cooking or eaten raw. Vietnamese coriander leaves, stems and seeds can be eaten. Vietnamese coriander has coriander-like smell with clear lemony note. Container size I use to grow Vietnamese coriander, height 28 cm, width 28 cm. For me, the advantage for growing in container is gives me more control over sunlight, moisture and temperature. For growing Vietnamese coriander, I do not use any fertilizer. If you want to use fertilizer, please do not overfeed the plant, as this will result in more leaves production, but reduced flavor and aroma in Vietnamese coriander. I don't encounter any plant diseases when growing Vietnamese coriander. I don't encounter any plant pest when growing Vietnamese coriander. But watch out for thrips and aphids that might infest your Vietnamese coriander. As you can see, Vietnamese coriander is easy to propagate and low-maintenance herb to grow. Suggestion: how about you guys try to grow Vietnamese coriander today? I harvest Vietnamese coriander leaf by cutting the stem. Laxa. Thank you for watching.